Well, good morning from Japan, good evening from Bermuda, and good night in Scotland. Welcome to this edition of A Walk Down Memory Lane. We are on the cusp of the annual Cup Match Classic, which will take place on Thursday and Friday at the Wellington Oval. I'm your host, Earl Basin. I'm joined by co-host Dennis Brown. And Dennis, tonight we have the distinct pleasure of having a chat with none other than legendary captain of St. George's Cricket Club, Kelvin Bummy Simons, and the record holder in wicket taking for Cup Match in Clarence Parfitt. We will be joined shortly, or hopefully we'll be joined shortly, by Randy Horton. Typical you Somerset people can't make time.
That's okay. We'll be on time Thursday and Friday.
You ain't sure about that. You ain't sure about
Trust me.
You're not sure about that. But the fact that we have these two gentlemen on, we want to take this time to hear their Cup Match exploits, talk about those memories and all. But before we get to that, I do want to reflect on yesterday's performance of Flora Duffy. Here in Japan, Flora picked up Bermuda's first gold medal, our second medal of the Summer Games. It took some 45 years, but, that is now done and dusted. And hopefully it doesn't take us another 45 years to get another medal. And hopefully, as she said in her interview with me, that she hopes that she's inspired someone else to jump on board and really take Bermuda to another level in sports, not just her sport, but any sport. And the fact that we have these two gentlemen that kind of set a stand for the EastEnders during their time of playing. First of all, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Simons, throughout your tender, and still to this day, you're known as the one of the best, if not the best, captain in the Classic. Take us through your time leading the EastEnders and the fact that Mr. Brown's wearing his Somerset shirt. He never saw the trophy change hands while you was in charge.
I would say, Earl, that during my time I joined St. George's, I started at 18. I played my first Cup match in 1950 under Clarence Jigger Smith. And after him came Leroy Tubby Ritson. Mm-hmm. And after him came Carlton Welch.
Yes.
From Carlton Welch, we went to Clarence Simmons. And playing with Cocky Steed, Buster Smith, Andy Smith, Irvin Pascoe, Sam Painter, Bilbo Burgess, Kenny Smith, great bowlers. But during that time in the 50s, St. George's was struggling. Somerset had a good team. And I said one day that we'll get to that standard. And during these 50, I can always talk about 1959, that we had 112 runs to win the match. And had all afternoon to make the runs. But we never made it. We got 100. We lost it by 12 runs.
Oh, wow.
But I like to talk about fairness. We had 6 LBWs by one umpire.
Quiet over spilled milk.
It's one thing. Like, look, my good friend Lloyd James, he passed on now, and he was betting, and Lloyd came in at number 8. He came in the team as a bowler, but he can bet, and he had top score with 28. During that time, he was one of the LBWs. Cheesy Hughes was bowling, swinging your ball, going on the leg stick, and the ball hit Lloyd on the hip, And the wickets is 28 inches high. And Lloyd's must be 28 inches over the wicket. How tall he was.
Yep.
But
He's a
he
big
gave,
man.
yeah, and gratefully, and he came in the dressing room, threw his bet down. And when are we going to win a cup match? I say, our day will come. Just be patient. So we went to Somerset in 1960 under Clarence Simmons captaincy. And the rain. So we got the game started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So in those years, the time we used to close the game at 6 o'clock in the evening. But there's no compromise that when the time is lost, add on, given another hour. But those rules stood. But nevertheless, we went in first, and rain clouds around, and Rupert Scotland and I came. Rupert was first year in cup match, and as a coach, he made 73, and we put on 148 run 4-wicket partnership. He came to the wicket at 3 for 36. Roy James just got up. So we betted to 5 o'clock, 230 for 7. And so when he get to Somerset in the last hour of play, rain started to come down again. And Clarence Simmons, the captain, was buzzed, and he slipped on the matting with his vet and wrenched his back. And he had no more participation in the match. So the floods opened up and the rain came. We couldn't even finish the first over. So the game was called. That meant it was to win the match. We had to bowl Somerset twice in one day. So myself and Dennis Wainwright, we got together and we changed the team around a bit. And that time, Kenny Paul, Alfred Fleece Hall, and Dickie Trott, Alvin Arena, and myself left the bowl. But no one thought about Jackie Dunn. So I opened up with Jackie and Kenny Paul. I told him, if you start getting wickets, you're going to bowl all day. So Kenny, so that we bowled Somerset for 93 in the first and 40 minutes before lunch. So we had 130-run lead or something like that. We put them back in. And if we can grab 2 quick wickets before lunch while I'm free. So Jackie got 7 wickets, off spinners. And Kenny Paul got 3. Kenny Paul bowled 17 overs, and Jackie bowled 17 overs. We only used 2 bowlers. But in the second innings, I opened up with myself and Albert Fleece Hall. And Fleece got a wicket early. I got the almost 2 wickets in that before lunch. But I didn't want Sheridan Rayner or Charlie Dope getting the wicket at the same time because it was a nuisance. Those 2 great players. And they had a lot of great players in Somerset those days. So eventually, after lunch, I told Kenny that you're going to stay up in this end and you're going to have to bowl. And I would rotate Alvin, Freddie, Dick, Detroit, Police, Hall, and myself. And 4 over birds. So I didn't want to burn them up. Kenny Paul was the man. He bowled 25 overs, 7 wickets for 41 runs. And we got some sort of in the second innings by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So the second day, we had an hour and a half to make 51 runs. So Jackie Durham and Dennis Wainwright ran in and knocked them all about wickets being lost. So we won the match at some point. And that's when our era started.
Okay.
So 61, we was back in St. George's because that 1960 was Somerset's first year up there. But those days, if you drew the game will be played up to the second year. But if you lost the match,
right, went to the other club.
You went to the other side to St. George.
Yeah.
And
well, let me just say, welcome, Mr. Horton. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Nice
Good,
to have
good.
some company. Nice to have some company.
I just left St. George's.
Okay.
I just left St.
Down to
George's.
spying as well? You're down to spying as well?
I wasn't spying. I just tried to see how things are looking, with
Oh, okay. Just checking. I've talked to a lot of Somerset people, Mr. Parfit and Mr. Simons. Talked to a lot of Somerset people that say, "Oh, I just left St. George's." I don't know. I think I'm a little nervous.
Nothing to spy.
Definitely not.
Clarence Parfit's not playing. Tommy Jones not playing.
Well, Mr.
Those days are
Parfit,
finished.
everyone knows the record holder for wickets taken in the annual classic, and I can't see that record ever being broken at this time. I don't know about anybody else, but I can't see it being. Just the players are not hanging around long enough to even get close to that figure of 115. Is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think Clarence will. When it's time for Clarence to rest in peace, that'll be in place still.
Yeah. For sure. Nobody's not even getting close to that.
Nowhere near. But looking at the fact that you came into the team as a youngster and was able to kind of dominate over a period of time, how often did you really study the players that you had to play against, especially in the Cup Match Classic?
Well, I always studied the players even when I played league cricket, because that's the way you got as a bowler. If you can't know how to bowl to someone, then you're going to struggle. So I've always done that, but I used to train before I got in the team, even I used to train both for 2.5, 3 hours at one stump. And I used to just bowl it, learned how to control the bowl line and length. And plus then I studied the batters. So it made my job a wee bit easier because I knew how to bowl the people, where to bowl. So, and that was my success. Plus I had a stubborn skipper.
What was your longest spell though? What was your longest spell in one game?
I can't remember. 20 or over 30. No, up in Somerset.
I know we were crying to tell Bumby take that man off.
when Neville was captain,
Uh-huh.
Campbell got 100 up there. Him
Right.
and Colin Blades and Bergen. I both 50 over straight.
Oh, whoa.
Jingle.
Was that
So,
man put stick on you, Prophet?
pardon?
Was that the only time that I ever made a run against you?
Well, you got a couple that day, didn't you?
Yeah, and I had a broken foot.
I didn't want to hit it. See,
Right,
I'm a
exactly.
gentleman.
You were very kind. You were very kind.
All right.
Well, Dennis, let you jump in because I know you're anxious to ask a few questions. So go ahead.
Yeah, this is it's great pleasure to have these three absolute legends of
Mhm.
a cup match, on the show. We usually talk about football, but football has to take a back seat this week because
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
it's the biggest occasion to me, in Bermuda, and these three right here, Mr. Simons is the arguably, well, I would say without a doubt, the best captain um, that cup match has ever seen. The second best cup match has ever seen is with us, Mr. Horton, and we also have the Bermuda's best ever bowler. Like nobody will even come close. Every time you ask questions, because I'm talking to Mr. Wainwright on Saturday on the phone. I mean, he thought he must have been on the show because he had me on the phone for like 45 minutes. And we were just talking, you were just talking about, back in the day, how he used to make Clarence bowl and tell Clarence slow down and stuff like that. But it's always nice. And like I was telling him on Saturday, like it's always nice to reflect on like back in the day how things used to be because everybody always talks about the quality that we used to hear back in the day. And to me, like growing up, watching and I used to watch Somerset take licks, for until 1979, and with the quality looking back at what St. George's had at that time, like you said, like Rupert Scotland and Eldon Rayner and Dennis Wainwright and Mr. Parfit and and the list goes on, Clevie and Neil and Charlie and Clay and they just had an abundance of talent. But now I think that's turned around a bit, whereby
Mm.
Somerset have that talent and youth and experience, and St. George's is trying to catch up. So I want to ask uh, Mr. Horton, my mentor, because um, from Warwick and them Trojans as coach, and some Sundays he used to pick me up and go play cricket for Somerset when I was like 14. But has always been an inspiration to me because of his motivational spirit and never say die spirit. Like, and Horton always told us like, get yours first. Like in football, you go with the win, you go with the win, you win, learn, win the toss, you go with the win. Win the toss, you bat first. So where did you get that? And this is to because I call him boss. He don't really realize I call him boss. But where did you get that tenacity and intensity? Because my mama always used to tell me, right, that boy, you're just like Randy Horton. Whether you whether you're coaching or whether you're playing, that passion and desire to succeed. Where did that come from? Because that was amazing.
Right, bro. Well, I think one thing I always had, Dennis, I always had the urge to win. I figured if I'm going out on the field, then, what I want to do is win. And then secondly, when you go on the field, and Clarence spoke to that a little early on, is that you prepare yourself. You prepare yourself in terms of who you're playing, what the strengths and weaknesses are of the players that you're playing against, and you go into that game with confidence, knowing that there are things that you can do that can bring you success, and it's because of the time that you spend off the field. And the problem is that too many players have felt that, hey man, what I'm playing Saturday, That's an easy team. I ain't got to practice. I ain't got to do this or that. But it's something that you had to do. And as Clarence mentioned, as Bummy would mention, is that, if you want to be successful, you better practice. Practice every day. And that I did, when I was playing cricket, when I was young. I used to go home, I used to bull against the wall. Nobody else around, but I put something up to the wall, and I would just bull, to bull and to learn how to build a good line and a good length. And once you understood how to do that, once you could do that in the game situation, then you would tend to have some success. And then, the other thing is I had a lot of encouragement. And then even, I got to say that even with Bummy there, Bummy gave me a lot of encouragement. I remember when I was the first captain in 1968. So I'm looking at a picture of the 68 team right now, down in St. George's. I was a young captain, 24. Going down there against St. George. Nobody else in Somerset wanted to be captain. They were all afraid. And I said, hey, man, I can handle it. I'd been in school in England. I'd captained my college team, in England for 3 years and done quite well. And I figured, hey, man, let me give it a go. And that first game in 1968, St. George's beat us. I think they beat us 2-1, or if not 2-1, they beat us by 10 wickets. But after that game, I'll never forget it. Speaking with Bummy after the game, and Bummy going up to the beach, not Bermudiana Beach, right there where, where the gas station, behind the gas station, that beach there. Bummy, I was up there that Saturday after Cup match, sitting down on the beach with Bummy, and he was telling me about, things that I could do to improve myself, etc. So, the other thing that's important for people to understand is that the players in Cup match, want to perform well. They respect each other, whichever team that you're on. And because they know that when you go there, we knew that we had to perform for people who are paying to see a good product.
Okay, another question. A question for everybody. So the week leading up to Cup match, once that team is picked, so was the team always picked on a Saturday after the last Cup match trial?
Yes.
Yeah, Somerset was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once that team is picked, so now how was you guys preparing, like, mentally for those 2 days? And this for everybody.
Okay. What happened? The present day players today, they waited July to get ready for Cup match. And my era, we start in May. We try to get in.
Yeah.
Try to be all Somerset and St. George always started in May. Physically, fitness. We try to get practice matches in. We at least try to get 8 practice matches in for Cup match.
Whoa.
During Cup match week, we don't do nothing but sit around and talk. But it was a great honor to have players that fulfill their dreams. But today's players, I had nothing against them. But we always start our first match on 24th of May on that holiday. But today you have a holiday and no cricket is started.
Right.
So we don't believe in that. I always say, you're going to play cricket. You can always go to a show like they used to have, the parade, but those senior citizens like to come out and see cricket. But they don't. But otherwise than that, I can give some evidence to the present day players. Don't wait till July to get ready.
Right.
Because with what I have seen the last few years, bowling down the leg stick, outside the off stick, giving them a wide balls, and that runs up. But today's players, they're good players, but they gotta start early in May. But some players used to start in March or April, getting their bodies ready. And what diet they must go on to have a place in the cup match. But dreaming, I can remember, I think we used to practice Wednesdays, one day a week. And my philosophy, if they miss 3 practice, they don't play cup match.
Uh,
But it's discipline. If they want to really play, I give them one excuse. I might give them 2, but not 3.
Mm.
But you all done practice to do something by yourself, running. But most of the players in my era, that they was very disciplined. That's
so,
yeah.
so Parford, how did you prepare for a cup match once you were picked?
Well, before I was picked, I used to prepare myself from the first week of January. I would start my fitness level because I knew I would have to bowl. And if you're not fit, you're not physically fit, you're not mentally fit. So I was able to train from January until the season starts. I used to go out running and doing exercise, getting myself fit, training, bowling, batting, fielding. But I found when I came into the team, the team was more like a family because everybody helped each other, and it was no us and them. It was all us, and we had one leader, and everybody listened to the leader. Nowadays, I see guys. Everybody wants to be the leader on the field, and there ends up being no leaders on the field. You know, they're not dedicated to the team or the club or whoever they're playing for. Or, even going on tours with other guys. I mean, Randy and I have been on tours together, and we worked as a team. The whole bunch of us, regardless who we played for or played against. When we were in a team, we were in a team. So that's the way. I don't think they do it nowadays because there's too many individuals worrying about themselves, especially I see down in St. George's,
Okay,
you listen
Boy
to
Sworden?
them and they say, you're playing for St. George's. Oh, I play for St. David's. I play for this club. I play for that club. It's not you're playing for St. George's. And that's
Yep.
where you got to be. You got to be, if you're going to play a cup match, you're playing for St. George's. You're not playing for Somerset. You're not playing for Southampton Rangers.
Okay, Boy Sworden, how did you prepare leading up to cup match?
Right. Well, for me, Dennis, I tell you the one thing.
That's the way I look at it. And getting yourself physically fit, mentally fit, and
delayed in
Yeah, Mr. Horton.
Okay. Yeah, no, what I was saying is that for me, the fact that I played football and played football at a high level, and I was always, and we played, high level football right up to April every year, right up to Easter when the FA Cup final, what I was on, I was always engaged. And so I was always in pretty good physical condition. And then I would start to focus in on cricket as soon as the FA Cup final was over. That's usually, Easter Sunday, and then my focus went to cricket. And as Bummy mentioned, we always had in May 24th, right? We always had our first trial match, and it was always against St. David's. We played against St. David's. Somerset did in that first trial. That's why people, want to know why the connection between Somerset and St. David's. Because we played that trial game every year, and they helped to get us ready. But from then on, once May came in, it was just full speed, making sure that the fact that I could bowl and bowl on a good line and length for me was probably the most important thing. Probably could tell you about that stuff, and it doesn't happen just by saying I'm going to go out there and do it. You've got to, put the time in order to do well. And so we usually start in April. We train in Somerset. Once we got to, I think June, we trained like 2 days a week in Somerset, and then probably the week before, a couple of weeks before Cup match, we may train a couple of more days than that. But we used to, and then when we, just to make sure that all the players were in shape, we used to have, a session which was just purely physical. Those steps at Somerset Cricket Club, up and down those steps, man, Cullen Blades and all those guys would tell you about those steps in terms of, making sure that they were in, tip-top condition. Because when you got out there on that field for those 2 days, it's hot. You got to be in good condition.
Well, I have a question. When do you guys? When did you know it was time to stop playing the classic? We all know, everybody wants to play. When do you decide, or when did you decide? It's my time to say thank you and bow out. And I'll start off with you, Mr. Horton.
Well, I finished in 1980. We had won the cup in 79. And then in 80, we had come down to St. George's. So it was a draw game. And, I decided that was, my time was up. I needed to spend more time at home. And so I called it quits. And a part of what, eked me on as well was that, the behavior of the spectators was sometimes a bit annoying. They didn't appreciate what the players were doing, and I said, well, hey, I've given all that I can, and it's time for me to pass on the baton.
What about you, Mr. Simons?
Well, I got an early start, right? I started to play cricket when I was 11, playing with a boys team, Boys United Cricket Club. It was formed by a good gentleman, George Butterfield, and Arthur Seeley. Arthur Seeley was from St. Kitts, any community around St. John's Road. And then I've been at 14 playing with a team called the Sponges. And so happened to then, the gentleman who used to control the Sponges, he retired and was no one to take his place. The Sponges was a team that gave teams practicing like Somerset and St. George's. So 1948, at 16, I was, at those days, you remember Summers Our Cricket League. That was the Black League. And I went to play with the Western Stars because that was my community. And I had some lovely days with them. And one of my mentors, Clayton Risson, enticed me to go to St. George's. So I tried out for St. George's 1950, and I got accepted to play cup match my first year.
Mm.
I was some type of nervous. Lloyd Simmons and Woodgate Simmons. Woodgate was behind the wicket. Lloyd Simmons was coming down. And I missed the first ball. I ran into the shakes. So Woodgate says, compose yourself, young man. Compose yourself. And they was very enticing. So it ran on that I missed 2 years of cup match because I got a contract for soccer in England.
Mm.
But unfortunately, that didn't work out too well. I got an injury, a knee injury, and I had 2 operations in 6 months. But I couldn't get back fitness. So my last year of my contract, I went to the boss and told him I can't go no more because they want to give me a 3rd operation. It wouldn't have been for my surgeon that done the knee and told me that I can't do no more for your knee.
Mm.
Go back home to Bermuda and lay in the sun and get in the salt water. So as I just said, at 19, I had 18 years in company, minus 2. And 1969 that I retired because 1960s was a wonderful era for St. George's. Wonderful era. And I don't like to talk about it, but it happened. And my good friend Lloyd James was the happiest person in the world because he started to win. But I could blame the centuries he made.
Mm.
I asked him that, well, how would you like to go number 3? He said, okay, but you're not going to bowl no more because I've had certain players. But Clarence came 65. I think Lee Rayner, Kenny Paul, Alfred Hall, myself, Fred Trott, Dickie, Alvin. I said, that's enough bowlers.
Mm.
But nevertheless, it was a striking good team, good players. And some of the players that community was a select team, players from St. David's, Baylor's Bay, Iftar Hill. But otherwise than that, I retired in 69 and I said, I'm had enough. I was 37 years old and I had a piece of land that I got to develop, get my family straight.
Mm.
And I call it a day. Worked a few years until I got them settled. And I came back to Western Stars. And then PHC wanted to form a team, form a cricket team. I left Western Stars, formed PHC's team. But it only lasted a couple of years because I couldn't get the players out to train.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm heading out. And I quit altogether.
What about you, Mr. Parfit? When did you decide, or what made you decide that's it?
He's still involved in the game.
No, we're talking about cup match. Are you talking? We can't hear you.
And hey,
Yeah. Try to go out, Mr. Parfit, and come back in because something's wrong with your audio. Yeah, just take it off and come back in, and then we'll come back to you with that question. Dennis?
yeah, to Mr. Simons, one of the things that really intrigued me when we talked to you about football a few months ago was your unbelievable memory. I mean, I can't remember from yesterday. You're going back to the 50s and stuff like that. What inspired you, or who inspired you? Because one question I want to ask, because I know that you have a lot of family from Somerset.
Yes.
What inspired you to go to the enemy and not Somerset?
For cricket.
Yeah, for cricket. In
Well, I did want to play for Somerset because my mother used to take me up on the train. She had a sister and a brother up living in Somerset. You know, my Aunt Mary Moo, Addison Simmons, his wife, Donnie Simmons,
Yep.
that passed away a couple of years.
Yep.
Lou Simmons.
Yep.
And Donnie's kids, you know, the dentist, Keith
and Donnie. Yeah.
Donna, all them my relatives.
Whoa.
And my uncle Hilly, he was a DeSilva. And the DeSilva girls up there, Berta, Verna, June, Kate,
Gotcha.
they all passed on. And those are my cousins. And on my father's side, he had two brothers, Charles, like a water rat. He's a merchant seaman.
Okay.
Always liked the trouble. Then you had what is his name? Breezer, called him John Breezer. And one sister, Rosie. And those are my people there. I have so many people cousins up Somerset I don't even know. I think Bully Beef is one of my cousins, Bradshaw.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, of course, I did want to play with something, but something
You wised up. You wised up, Mr. Simons. You wised up.
Something happened. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about it.
Keep it quiet.
Yeah, keep it quiet. Yeah. Yeah, in those days, you know, because they had you must be born in Somerset to play with something.
Wow.
See? And my uncle Addison said, well, his father's from Somerset, just like Blue Wilson. His father was from Somerset, but Blue Wilson lived almost about 50 yards from me down in St. John's Road. But after he left, man, I saw Cal Wade play cup match 1949. And Cal Wade and Clayton Risson, that's come St. George's. And I just want to play cricket.
Hey, Bobby, talking about Somerset and Somerset taking nobody across the bridge. I think like Cheesy, right? Cheesy was probably the first one, was he?
Yes, Cheesy was the first one.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
How's your
Jesus.
audio now, Mr. Parvin? Can you hear us?
Oh, no.
Can you hear us now, Parvin?
Doesn't seem to be on.
Hold on a second. Let me just see something.
I will. Okay.
Okay, can you hear us now, Mr. Parvin? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Try it one more time. Go out and come back and see what happens. Dennis, you got a follow-up question with Mr. Horton?
Yeah, definitely. So we waited a long time to wrestle that cup back from St. George's. So take us to 1979, because that's a year I'll never forget. Sitting at the Southern End on the steps. That was before the Plucks and stuff like that. With my group of Somerset fans. Horton, take us back to because I believe that was also the world, like 90% of the World Cup team was in the Cup match team.
Mm.
Yeah,
Blades
that's
and
right.
Reed
Yeah,
and
well,
Hosea
the only
Brown.
players, there was only three
Yeah.
of us who didn't go to the World Cup, and that was Robert Hines, uh, Sherlock and myself.
Right.
And we were certainly all players who were capable of making that national team.
So take
But,
us back to that Cup match, because that's one I'll never forget.
Yeah, well, obviously it was a very,
digress.
very, very exciting time for us, and it was, it didn't just happen, because it was a build up from the years of preparation before going back to the teams in 77, 78. 77 we drew, 78 we drew, and we were building towards, gaining the trophy back. But we had an incredible bunch of players on the team in 1979. They were all guys who were capable. They knew the game very well, and so they were all able. I could talk to any of the players to get their opinion on if I was about to make a decision, and I said, "Hey, let me just ask Coach. Hey, is that the right thing to do?" And there were occasions, sometimes, when a player would come to me and make a suggestion. And if a suggestion was made, I might, go along with that suggestion. I might not. But all the players had their heads in the game, and all the players were, number one, they were fit, physically fit, because they'd spent that time in England, and those guys who were playing together. You were in England for how long, Prophet? You were in England for a month or so, wasn't it? And then,
Parvin, you got to unmute your mic so we can hear you.
so anyway, we were in England all that time, and so then we just gelled together. We worked hard, even though all those players, had gone with the Bermuda team. They could have said, man, I'm in condition. I don't need to come practice with Somerset. But hey, they were there. Everybody was there in preparation. When we went onto that field in 1979, we knew exactly what we had to do. And so even when we won the toss, we knew that, if we won the toss, we were going to bet. We knew how many runs we needed to make before declaration, and how much time we gave ourselves and all. Because not having the comp, you had to take the initiative. And so we batted. We never forget, the difficulty that it was. We declared with John Tucker on 70 odd. John Tucker was on 70 odd. Should we wait for him to get his century? There's some people who gave me hell because I declared with John on 70 odd. But John knew, what the plan was. All the players knew what the plan was, and so there was no issue with the players. And so we came in, and then, of course, in the second innings, we had to declare again. We had to go out We had to make runs fast. And so we declared, I think we only had 130 odd, I think, in the second inning that we declared with. But we had to give ourselves enough time to be able to blow St. George's out. And of course, we had the bowlers. I mean, with Coach Rod, with Robert Hines, with Alvin James, and myself with the new ball. And then, of course, we had Vincent Reed, and even Colin Blades chipped in with a few wickets. So, and of course, I think one of the greatest feats of the game was a catch by Vincent Reed to dismiss. I don't know if it was Clevey Clevey or no, I think it was Clevey. I took Clevey, but it was an absolutely amazing catch in the slips and off of Coach Rod's bowling. And after, because he was, Clevey was given some trouble. He was hanging around, we needed to move him. So Coach Rod came on, and he just bowled so very well in that last spell. He ended up claiming 4 wickets, or maybe 5 wickets in that particular inning. But that catch by Vincent Reed off of Coach Rod was fantastic. And of course, all around the team, the fielding was superb, and we had to do that in order to be able to win with St. George's. St. George's had a good team. A lot of people say, you beat a non-St. George's team, and I wouldn't agree with that. And then, of course, but they do say, too, that we had all these Bermuda players, most of the Bermuda players on our team. That's the point, which really helped with our strength.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Parfit, we can hear you now.
Come on, Toppins.
It's freezing.
I want to hear Toppins, man. Put that ball on the spot.
We heard him and he came back, but now we can't hear him.
Yeah.
What you Somerset boys done to Parfit? You finally done something that he can't get in.
Keep him quiet. Knock him off his voice.
No, we want to hear.
I want to hear you. I want to hear what he has.
We want to learn. We're not that big.
Exactly.
We want to learn. I learned from Bumby Summers how to be a good captain.
This is unfortunate. We can't hear him.
Yeah.
It is.
Just, Mr. Parfit, mute your mic and then unmute it again and see what happens. Because we heard you when you came in.
Let me say, while we're waiting for Parfit to come in, let me just jump in here. And Bumby was talking about when he played his first cup match. When a ball he missed, I think hit and miss. I forget who you said was Burling, Bumby. But anyway, you played and missed. Was it my Uncle Lloyd Burling?
Huh?
No, he said somebody Simmons.
Who?
Warren Simmons.
Bosun Simmons. Lloyd Simmons.
Lloyd.
My uncle.
Lloyd. Oh, okay.
Your uncle.
My Uncle Lloyd.
Brandon's uncle.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, but when I first played 1963, this year, when I came out to bat in my first inning to bat, man, I came out there, took center, and Dennis, I don't know what Dennis said to me, but he wasn't making me feel comfortable. Kenny Paul was bowling, and Kenny Paul came from the southern end there, the grandstand there. Man, when Kenny Paul came in, his arm went up. I remember him coming in, but everything was just a blur. And all I can remember is my stumps going flying. That's the fresh delivery. But I had some reprieve in the match, because when we were in the field now, the person I took my first catching cup match was Bumby Summons. Bumby Summons edged Charles Dolphin, and I caught him in the slips, man. And that was like, hey, that made my day. I didn't have to make any runs. And my first wicket in cup match that year, I bowled Eldon Rayner. So that one wicket, that broad catch, made me say I'm a Cup Mets player, man. And I was only
That's
like
just
I was just 17 years old then.
Okay.
that's just the thing. I mean, when you guys took to the field, you always wanted to take someone that you can, or you always wanted to get any record, but you always wanted to claim a scalp of somebody who's of that stature, of that name and all that, just to say that, I actually claimed the wicket of Calvin Bummy Simons. Yeah, even if it was backyard cricket, sometimes if he had a game set up in his yard or something, and I took a catch, or anybody took a catch, that's that claim to fame, and here you are in Cup Match taking the catch. The Buller's not getting the credit. You're getting the credit for claiming it, for holding
No,
on.
I did. No. The Buller gets the credit. For me, the Buller gets the credit. The Buller, I took the catch. That's my job. My
Yeah.
job. If somebody edges the ball and I'm in the slips, I have to catch.
Yeah.
So the credit, even though it's a two-way thing. I can't take all the credit for it.
Right.
Now the Bull is the one that initiates
Yes.
initiates the opportunity. And so, as a fielder, when you're in the field, you have to support your bowlers. That's what you're doing in the field. When I was in the slips, anything came my way. Hey, if you came down through the slips and it came my way, consider yourself gone. Start walking.
But when you came into the Somerset team, Mr. Horton, who was your wicketkeeper?
My wicketkeeper in my first game was John Starwood. John Starwood was the wicketkeeper captain. John was my first captain, and a wonderful man who John helped me a hell of a lot in terms. This was 1963 in the game, and I think that game in '63, I think Bummy withdrew that game, I believe.
Yeah, we do it. Yeah.
In 1963, yes, and he helped me a lot. And I was there with, of course, Sheridan was there, Charles Dolphin was there, Dewey Trott. We had a darn good team in 1963. Couldn't beat St. George's, but we had a darn good team.
So Parfit,
yeah, we can hear you now. Okay.
Parfit, it's got to unmute.
Yeah, you muted yourself.
Papa, what's wrong? What's going on?
It's nervous. Parfit,
You just muted again. Unmute. Yeah, there you go. You keep muting yourself. You must have a Somerset person near you.
Parfit, still,
Because every time you
Okay.
unmute, it automatically goes back to muting.
yeah.
It's going back to mute.
Parfit, going back.
We heard him just now. Because
Uh,
there you go. There you go.
Still delayed there.
Something's wrong with something's wrong with the internet.
How can we improve cricket in Bermuda?
Okay, sorry. So I want to ask you a question now because I know how Parfit, you there?
that's it.
Okay, sorry. So I know how Mr. Horton thinks. He lives, he tours. He's gonna bet. What's your philosophy? You're the challenger. You're going into Cup Match. Let's look at this week. The weather forecast. It's been raining all week. You win the toss on Thursday morning. What do you do on a wet wicket? Do you bet or do you bowl? I had a little debate with somebody about this today. What do you do?
I look at the strength of my team. I always get together, select teams. I have my first four specialist bets to 4. 5, 6, 7, 8 is my all-rounders. 9, 10, 11, my specialist bowlers. I'm got bet down the line to 8. Sometimes my bowlers will have to make 10 runs each. That gives me a
That's
extra 30 runs.
right.
And I'm got 300 runs on the board.
Mhm.
All I need 200, two of those top bets to give me a 60, 70, ground out be 40 and 50. I get 300. But what's my philosophy? I never won the toss. Send somebody in. I go to bat first.
Right.
And I don't take the stunt. Believe in sending win the toss. Ask the other team to go ahead and bet. I don't believe in taking my bowlers. I put them in the dressing room, rest of them,
That's right.
and worry, and very seldom I have my bowlers come out and bet because I always got somebody get 275, 300, then I declare. And I give the other to bowl to take 10 wickets each day to win. And that's my philosophy. I got that while I was in England, going to classes to an Indian professional test player in the late 50s, going to listen to them. But I don't believe that winning the toss and sending the opponents in.
Yep. Same here.
That's
All right,
it.
let's try this one more time, Mr. Prophet.
You can hear?
Hey,
You can hear?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
So what was your most devastating spell in Cotton? I believe you took 9 wickets in one
It's
inning.
what?
I believe you took 9 wickets in one inning.
I muted myself.
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
you muted yourself, but go ahead.
I don't know. I haven't touched them.
You're good. You're good. You don't know.
So Horton say you're nervous.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey,
We can
Yes.
hear
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you. Go ahead. He's dropped out again.
Must
Yeah.
be. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I know. I don't understand it. This is your machine
We can
that
hear
you
you.
got. I know.
Okay, no.
It's off now.
Yeah, but you're going in
It's
and out.
off
You're going
now.
in and out.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
going in and out.
I don't know what's going on. I'm not good with all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But can you hear me now?
Yeah, just
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Just go ahead and speak, Clarence.
How can you improve cricket?
Okay. Dennis, it's interesting
Yeah.
you asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Dennis, it's interesting you asked Mr. Simons. You gave Mr. Simons a scenario, and he said that same as Mr. Horton, get yours first. But
Yeah.
under that same scenario, Mr. Horton, do you still decide get yours first under the
I'm
same
gonna
scenario
bowl.
as Dennis explained? Rain all week. You take the toss and win the
I'm
toss in the
gonna
morning.
bowl.
What happens?
Yeah, once I've looked at that wicket and determined that the wicket maybe is not going to change, yeah, I mean, you get yours first. So if I get 50, then hey, they're not going to get 50, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because that
Got
was
another one,
one of,
Dennis?
that was one of the debates I had with someone today, talking at the college today, because I said I will bet first. I'll get mine first. The wicket would eventually dry out because today the sun came out later on in the day, and so say so done. I'm under the philosophy just like Horton. That was my teacher. Get yours first, and then you know what I mean. Bust your backside to make sure that you defend whatever you make. So and the one thing I said, if St. George's sends Somerset in on Thursday, the game's over. Because you're not going to build Somerset out. I don't believe, and I'm not taking St. George for granted because I'll tell Somerset till I'm blue in the face or till I'm red in the face. I don't have any other blue, but don't go to St. George's on Thursday and think that the game is going to be easy just looking at both teams. Somerset have a good all-round team, solid team. St. George's have to me, it's a very inexperienced team with like three specialist batsmen and the rest bowlers. But the worst thing that Somerset could do on Thursday and Friday is to go down St. George's and think the game's going to be easy because it's not. So before we leave, guys, can you both tell me like I played in big football atmospheres, but what is it like to play in cup match in front of the all those people? What is that atmosphere like? Um, I mean, in the crowd, I could
And it's Dennis, for me, I just love a crowd. If I know people's going to be there, I know I'm going to perform even better than I would perform if nobody's there.
mm,
When I see a crowd, hey, number one is the fact that I'm going to perform at the highest level that I can. And I know that I'm on there, I'm going to give them something to talk about. I'm going to produce at the highest level. So, the more people, the more exciting it is for me, and the more that I'm involved in the game and ensuring that I perform at a high level for my team and for the people that are watching.
what was that like for you to play in front of family, friends, spectators back in those days?
It was great, Dennis, playing in front of the cup match crowd. In our day, in the era, we used to draw between 9,000 and 10,000 people a day. So 20,000 in 2 days. It was an honor to play in cup match. It was an honor because your best is up. You're playing against Somerset. You got to be fully qualified, fitness, how to bowl, how to bat. You got to stick around. And I appreciate meeting Horton. Became wonderful friends over the years, and we're still friends. And Clarence, you're the greatest bowler in the world.
That's right.
I can remember that
Yeah,
19, what,
yeah,
that
I can hear you. Can
67,
you hear me?
1967, up Somerset. International team came here.
Can you hear me?
International team. Sir Garfield Silver was a white player. They had 9 test team players. And I can remember that Vinny told us that I choose to bet. And I got slam base for that by Champ. Put them in. And I told Champ that I don't believe in putting teams in. I got mine first. So they bowled us out for 75. They had a test player called Ken Barrett. And he said that we get rid of these village cricketers. Or village cricketers.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that Barrington?
Barrington, yeah, Barrington.
Yeah.
and Lloyd James got upset. I said, I deal with it. Don't worry about it. We got 75. So that turned to bet. They made 42.
Whoa.
Kearns
Whoa.
Pop got 7 for 12.
Whoa.
And out of that 7 wickets, all hit wickets.
Oh wow.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
And this fellow Barrington, Kearns bowled him on twice each inning. Each inning he got 0, 0. leaving the ball, think the ball was moving away from him, came back and hit his off stump. And I told him, you're a brilliant bat. And you call yourself a test cricketer, get bowled the same ball twice in 2 days. We at the end of the game, I went in the dressing room and told him, I said, we appreciate you guys coming to upgrade our cricket skill. But don't call us village cricketers.
For real.
And it's wrong. So Garfield just looked at me and smiled. And this fellow Barrington, he is a little cocky. We had some good teams coming in to raise the team. First of all, Yorkshire was a fellow Brian Close, Yorkshire captain. He used to come here all the time. That's how we got started to improve our cricket. And now today, you can't even get one team to come here.
Yep.
Because we used to have the Caribbean teams like Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and Antigua coming here to upgrade to get to that level. But we get away from that. We got too many cricketers playing T20, hitting the ball,
Right.
Yep.
and it's not improving, not building to improve players. We must get on 50 overs, play long cricket, 50 overs. Because really, we can't even bet 50 overs today. We can't even beat nobody. Because we had a T20 a couple of years ago to get to the, what tournament we was in. America's tournament.
America,
the Americas.
ICC America.
ICC Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't even beat Canada. We can't even beat USA. Which we got to improve. But our clubs in the time, we've got too many players moving around, leaving one club. We'll play for this club. That's the community clubs. Got to go back to community clubs, that you stay in your community and build your community club. Because a lot of these, I was looking at St. David's. Now, there's a club that used to build players down there, but they're taking in other players from different clubs, bringing up bad habits to these. But once you got to invite 5 guest players to your club to play Connie Cup, this is wrong.
Yeah.
It's like the system. One team bets 70 overs, the other team bets 48. What kind of cricket is that?
You're preaching to the choir, definitely. Definitely.
This is wrong. Pay 50 for overs, or each team will get 60 overs each. Give the other team a chance. And 48 overs, that's, and 70, that's 22 overs more than,
Yep.
But I feel the committee down there will have to do some changing because there's nothing getting any better. I don't know who came up with that idea, but it's all wrong. When there's no young players that's playing today, they don't stick around long. They don't stay around. They give up to the East. But there's quite a few young good players in the Army. Baylor Bay lost some young players by taking in players from other clubs, joining some of the players that this fellow, little boy, Stoll, is a great player, but his play is good.
He played for every team in Bermuda.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
Go a little quicker than that, yeah.
good little curriculum.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
is.
taking it away from him. It's good. And I want him to see against opposition,
Yeah,
50 playing against top teams to upgrade his stuff.
yes.
And this little boy, Douglas, Chris Douglas, both
Yeah.
Douglas are good,
Chris and Allen, yep.
good players. You,
Okay, before we go, you guys, I want to ask all of you a question. It's the same question. So, Harford, Horton, and Simons, I'm asking for your best bowler that you played with, your best batsman that you played with, your best wicket keeper that you played with, and your best fielder.
Yeah, Mr. Simons.
oh man, I don't want to. Okay, my bowler will be Clarence Barber.
Okay.
My wicket will be Dennis Van Dyke. Two specialists. And what else you say, Dennis?
Bowler, batsman, wicket keeper, and fielder outside of the wicket keeper.
My fielder will be Dickie
Dickie Trot.
Trott.
Okay.
Yeah, great player. You know, quiet, good field, good all around. And
And your
My
best
best-
batsman.
oh man,
And then you had a few. You had a few.
oh man.
What about that fella named? What about that fella named Campbell, Calvin Bummy Simons?
I don't talk about me that much.
That's it. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I let the people talk for me.
That's it.
Ah,
But you know, I had it between Lloyd James and Ruben Scott,
Mm,
Alvin Rand.
mm.
Yeah. There was,
let me see if Porford's on. Porford, unmute and see if we can hear you. You haven't unmuted. Still no.
Yeah, he unmuted.
Okay.
Bob,
Can we hear you? All right. So he's still having audio problems. So let's go to Mr. Horton.
Yeah, okay. Then if you're looking at Somerset players, if you're talking about the best
Your
bowler,
best bowler, yeah.
best bowler, I certainly think Shiraz Ali,
Mm.
one of the best bowlers that that played with me. And then as the wicketkeeper, I would say Barry Dakuda.
Mm.
As batsman, I'd say Colin Blades.
Mm.
And fielder, I would say John Tucker.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But
Well,
of course,
gentlemen,
there are many
what's
others
that?
who come. There are many others who come close.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, definitely. So predictions for Thursday and Friday, Mr. Bass, before we go.
My prediction?
No, not yours. I want Dirk.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll start with you, Mr. Horton.
I can't give a prediction, Dennis, because I don't know the players. I'm not
Yeah,
seeing
for
any.
sure.
I'm not seeing any of them play. Last cricket I saw was last cup match, and I wasn't impressed.
Okay.
And Mr. Simons?
I don't give predictions on other players, what they do. The only prediction I would give if I was playing. And my
Okay.
team, I don't know, because the cricket has been, cup match cricket is not at its best.
Mm.
Not at its best. Because leading, it's anything that we got low players that firecrackers, I call them, explode. Always, the umpire says not out, that they're all up in his face,
Mm.
things like that. But his leadership allowed that.
Mm-hmm.
Captain on the team, to tell him only 2 people appeal from the LBO, Rick Keep and the bowler. Don't be feeling long on. How's that? And you're not in a position to see that's the problem. And they get upset.
Mm.
And tell them to go do some fielding practice, slip catching. I think the last St. George's dropped 8 catches.
Yeah.
Yep.
8 catches. The team
Carrying like that.
that loses catches loses the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
Remember those slip catches they made, like a bow stringing shorty ball, and they go this way, go that way. I don't see them on them because
Right.
that's all the technology they have in the game. I don't like the technology today is in cricket. I don't like that at all. The umpire gives you out. Don't go upstairs. Let somebody else make a decision for you. And
Right.
It stops the game. Not out. You go on with the game. Keep the game going, flowing. But I don't know. I guess I say I'm old timey. I'm not up to date.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all for joining this show, Walk Down Memory Lane. Cup Match Legends with us today, Dennis.
Yes,
It's been an honor for me, and I know for you as well,
yeah,
to sit here and talk with these gentlemen. Unfortunately, we had the audio problems with Mr. Parfit, but we did get a chance to speak with him as well. And we look forward to 2 good days of cricket, hopefully, at the Wellington Oval. And at the end of the day, may the best team win. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy your night.
All right.
Thank you,
All right.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay,
Take
guys.
care.
Thank you.
All
See
right.
you.